I often get asked what my favourite go-to meal is, and it's quite humble to be honest. Stewed black beans with sticky rice and plantain, Cuban style. Black beans are considered a staple and a national dish in Cuba. And for me, black beans flavoured down with a sofrito, a flavourful base of onion, pepper, garlic and spices, it's just perfect. As you know, I love to exercise, and black beans are a nutritional powerhouse, offering a rich source of protein, fibre and antioxidants that support heart health, aid digestion and stabilise blood sugar levels.
Is there anything better than just beans and rice? I don't know. I don't think so. My go-to meal at the minute. I am excited today. I could literally live off this dish. I haven't been to Cuba, but I really want to. But whenever I've been to Miami or Florida, there's Cuban restaurants everywhere, and having delicious black beans Cuban style, it's basically their national dish. Oh, I am such a happy man. So I'm gonna recreate it in my style today. It's wholesome, it's hearty, it's delicious and nourishing. I've just picked some leeks, so let's get in the kitchen. Oh, it's a beautiful day here in Wales, but I don't mind being inside in the kitchen when I'm cooking a dish like today. I've actually soaked my beans overnight, but that's not a reason for you to turn off right now. If you're one of those people that's never cooked black beans from scratch, now I've got a wake-up call for you. They not only taste better when you soak the dried beans overnight and cook them, but they also, you're saving so much money. The price of a can compared to the amount that you get dried is just ridiculous how much money you save. And for me as a chef, they taste 1,000 times better. And it's so simple. Before you go to bed, just put your black beans in a bowl and just cover them with water. The next day, they're ready to cook. Now, I'm sure if I were to use a can of black beans, Cuban grandmothers and chefs and mums all around the world and in Cuba would be going mad at me. How dare I make their national dish and use canned black beans? You've got to soak your beans. The first thing I'm going to do to make my version, or just inspired by Cuban beans, I'm actually going to chop my leeks that I just harvested quite fine. Also, I've got half an onion just hanging around that I had in the fridge. I'm going to use that too, plus a green pepper and a load of garlic. This is actually the last of my homegrown garlic from last year. So if we think, I harvested it in July and I'm still using it in May, which is a real incredible feat. I managed to grow, I think, about 80 to 90 bulbs of garlic. And also, some of that harvest, I actually replanted in the ground at the end of last year, which will be this year's harvest in July. So I actually haven't looked at any Cuban recipes for this. This is just my interpretation. At the end of the day, we're making stewed black beans. So, oh, wrong one. So as long as I add enough spices and I use that lovely base, I think I'll be able to achieve something very similar. The first thing I like to do though is toast off some dried chilies, which will add hopefully a nice smokiness to my stew. Oh, that smells like my trip to Mexico a few years ago. Oh, what a trip and what a journey and what an experience that was. If you want to watch it, you can click somewhere here. It's an old one now, but still a documentary that we're proud of. All right, let's get the base cooking in here now. Take these out and get our onions and everything sauteed. Oh, that smells good. Pinch of salt to this to help it break down and just season at every stage is very important. I'm also going to add some spices. I've got some ground cumin going in, some dried oregano and thyme, plus a few bay leaves from my garden. So those two chilies, one of them's ancho and one of them's pasilla. And you can get them online, or you could go to Mexico and get some. And we're just cooking this down now, letting those spices and the herbs release all those aromatics. And the next job then would be to get our black beans in. Before getting your black beans in, whether you're using black beans from a can or soaked and dried beans, give them a rinse off and then get them in the pan. All right, I've got to introduce some non-traditional ingredients, so don't hate me for this, I'm sorry, my Cuban friends. I'm actually going to be adding some soy sauce and some miso paste, both umami-packed ingredients, because often in Cuba, they would add or cook the beans in pork stock. That's real meaty and has got a punch to it. I don't eat pork, so I'm going to be using miso paste and the soy sauce. I'm also going to add a splash of white wine vinegar to help balance the flavors. At this stage, you would add your vegetable stock. Traditionally, it was pork. You can use vegetable stock if you don't eat pork. For me, I'm actually just going to use some boiling water and throw in some dried mushrooms, because mushrooms have a real meatiness, particularly dried ones, because that flavor has been intensified during the drying process. Guys, it is incredibly surprising how much water or liquid that those beans absorb, so keep an eye on it. And if you need to add more stock or water, just do it, because you can have some accidents. I've gone to the gym, thought, oh, my beans will be fine. And then I realized that the whole pan is burnt because they've absorbed too much water. So be careful, keep topping it up. The only downside about cooking your own beans is that they take an hour to cook now, maybe a little bit longer. But it gives you the opportunity to go and do some chores around the house. I'm going to go out into the garden now and get some of my gardening jobs done. I'll take you with me, and then we'll come in just before they're ready. I'll prepare some rice and also some incredible accompaniments to these beautiful black beans. Here's a fun little gardening job that I've been putting off for a while. I should have done it ages ago. But basically, I sowed a load of peas in a piece of guttering, and they're ready to go into their forever home. And we'll make a little bamboo climbing frame for our little pea friends. So first things first, I'm going to make a little trench, and because of the roots of the peas would have bound together within my guttering plant pot, it should slide out. This is an old Hugh Richards trick from one of his first books that I use every year. Because I sowed a few different varieties of peas, they actually all came up at different tempos, and now they're all at different heights. So what I will do, just to fill in the gaps, is sow a few extra peas just straight directly into the soil as well, so I'll have a constant flow and supply of fresh peas when they start producing. This is a lazy way of gardening. Peas won't mind, they're not pretentious like tomatoes. Actually, no, tomatoes will grow anywhere. What seed is pretentious? Celery. You know who you are, celery. Put you in the perfect little compost mix in a lovely little tray. Oh, and you won't germinate. Or basil. Oh, basil's the worst. But peas, they're fine. Just throw them in and they'll grow. Now I just need to build a little structure for my peas to climb up.
You know, you're literally a hobbit. You live like a hobbit from the Shire. Because they like their farm, they like their food.
Got hairy feet. All right, that will give something for my peas to climb up. Now let's go and check on my beans. Oh, yes. Oh, that is cooking beautifully. It's on a very low heat there, just slowly stewing away, letting all those flavors intensify. Now, whenever I've had Cuban black beans, they've always been served with lovely fluffy rice. So that's my next job. I'm gonna get some rice cooking in a saucepan. I'm just gonna wash my rice first and then cover it over with about a couple of centimeters of water. Add a pinch of salt, a bay leaf, a couple of black peppercorns. I'm gonna just let that cook away slowly. All right, so my rice is cooking. That means we're nearly ready to serve. I cannot serve these black beans without plantain, but how do I get plantain from here, where I am, middle of nowhere in Wales? Well, lucky for me, I went down to the city, Cardiff, where I grew up, and there's loads of amazing international shops there, so I picked up some plantain. We're gonna caramelize that up beautifully just before serving. But I wanna head out into the garden because I know there's a few things I can pick to serve with this dish that are from my own land. Radishes and a load of coriander, plus maybe some lettuce. All right, I think that'll do because I've actually got some fermented foods. Actually, I made a video recently on this 2-ingredient recipe that changed my life. Click here to watch it, and that will go lovely with this. I feel guilty now on the lettuce. I can see it out there staring at me, probably thinking, why didn't I pick it? Next time, lettuce, I got you. I get a bit excited when I see this. Oh, there's not many better sights in life than that. Oh, well, I don't know about you, but that's a plate of my dreams on its own. Beautiful. Ooh, yes. All right, the beans are done. It's time to build and construct my all-time favorite meal at the minute. Let's go and get my fermented flavor bombs and serve up. Woo! My wild garlic, foraged by me. If you want some wild garlic recipes and you've got to check out the series we made, click by here. This is my favorite thing, my fermented wild garlic. Powerful. Bit of my lovely homegrown coriander. Don't think it needs the radish, to be honest, so they'll be my late evening snack. Guys, me and Tom, cameraman Tom, have a laughing, ongoing inside joke now where I just can't finish a dish. I have to keep adding things, but after all, this is my all-time favorite dish at the minute. I can't help but add a few seeds. Obviously, You know, you've got to get the nutrients in, so any meal, I sprinkle a few seeds over. And I can't live without tahini at the minute, so I'll take a pot of tahini outside and drizzle that over before enjoying. Oh, by the time these beans are cooked, the peas have grown about a foot. Let's sit down and enjoy. Oh, let's get a bit of everything on here if I can. Here it goes. It's not as good as the Cuban restaurants I went to, but it is really rich and tasty and so wholesome and hearty for me. I'm only saying that because the one in Miami, in the restaurant I went to, was incredible. So this is good, it's excellent actually, but that one was spectacular. It's so rich. I think that's thanks to just the slow cooking, those mushrooms, oh, and those smoky chilies. Is there anything better than just beans and rice? I don't know. I don't think so. My go-to meal at the minute. Thank you for watching, guys. See you soon.